Man, if they would just let me in the back, before they haul this stuff out there, let me go look before these other people. If you've ever thought that, then you need to listen to this right here. How many videos have you seen that tell you that you need to work harder? You need to work faster. You need to buy your products faster. You need to be more efficient. You need to list faster. But what if that's not what you want? You're building a business that's supposed to do what you want, and yet you end up doing all of the things in a way that you don't want to do them. I speak from experience because when I retired, there was this incredible sense of urgency that I needed to be killing it all the time, or what I was doing wasn't really a business. And let me tell you what I've learned. The closer I get to 60 years old, the more that I've realized that that isn't the only way that you can do this. Our whole focus in this house is how can we maximize our dollars without having to maximize our efforts. See, we're retired, but we take care of my mom, we take care of Melody's parents, and we're also reaching a point where we want to do some other things other than work 24/7, but we still need an income. This applies not just to people like us that are at retirement age. It also applies to that single parent who's got 2 kids and already has a job, and they don't want to list 40 items when they get home. And even if they could, they won't be able to maintain that consistently because it will just straight up burn them out. But if they could list a few and make some decent money, that seems really interesting. I think that's who this video will resonate with the most. I think we've got it figured out. I think we figured out how to make this work. So first, one of the biggest mistakes we made when we were getting started is we would just buy everything. We bought a lot of low quality items that way. Don't be afraid to spend up for quality items. It is so intoxicating to go out and bring back 50 pounds of stuff that you know you're going to clear at least $10 each. And I know that that's intoxicating because I did it, and I did it a lot. We brought home so many $10 to $20 items, and we would work and hustle and get those things listed. I just don't want to work that hard. So what we do is we have spent a great deal of effort learning how to pick out quality items that net more profit. If I'm going to go out and buy 10 pairs of shoes for $1 a pair, and each one of them is going to net me a profit of $10, you can do that. Or I could go out and buy one $10 pair of shoes that's going to net me $100. The amount of work that it takes finding that $10 pair of shoes is going to be more than maybe finding the $10 $1 pair of shoes. You're going to have to work to find that one. But guess what? If you're like us, we enjoy the sourcing part of it. We want to find the treasures. By paying up for items, when I get home and it comes time to do the listing, far less work for me to do to bring in the same amount of money. Now keep in mind, my average sell price is well over $60 an item. Let that soak in for a minute, because it wasn't. When we started, our average sell price was around $12. Think about how many items an hour I have to list to make decent money doing that. One of the first things that we did is we stopped buying every single thing that we can get. And I think the important lesson here is that for us, buying quality and spending up for it is far better than buying a bunch of stuff that was inexpensive but had low profit. Pay up for quality while you work on sourcing better and getting your cost back down. One of the ways that you can bring your cost down when you're picking out quality items is to become an expert in a given field. Pick a niche and learn a lot about that one thing. When we got started, I knew a lot about woodworking stuff. I've been a woodworker my whole adult life. So when I go out, I can spot quality very, very quickly. Melody knew an awful lot about clothes, stuff that, I could get dressed by myself, but she actually knew stuff that made her really, really competitive. And because we've been at this a while, we've added a few things to it along the way. But for you, become an expert at one thing first so that you can quickly find those items that are going to bring you the most profit. Remember, ultimately, our goal is to make as much money with our limited time as we possibly can. We want to make as little investment in time and money to bring back the most rewards. And I get it that this flies in the face of all the people telling you just go harder, go faster. That's just not me. It's not Melody. We just want to make more money without having to do that. Become an expert in a selected category. I see people that just sell one item and they do really well selling one kind of thing. Check out Dealing with Dalton. I've talked to him for years and I've watched him just do shoes. He knows shoes so much better than I do that if we were to go into the same place, he's going to find the value much faster than I would because he knows exactly what he wants and exactly what he's looking for. And he has a really good idea of how much he's going to make on the back end. So for you, focus on becoming a master of one thing. And then as experience grows, if you choose to, you can add things to that you study. Melody and I both like to study. And so we've added several things to it that we're pretty good at this point. But that's a huge key to doing this. Another way that you can maximize your return on investment is to buy multi-quantity items. It's not just average sale price that raises your return on investment. Sometimes it's only having to do things once, and then you just reap the benefits every single time that you ship, even if it's not a large amount. I have talked endlessly about the dust mop pads. We bought them, it's I think 7 years ago now. We paid $20 for a 16-foot trailer load of dust mop pads. After shipping and eBay fees and everything, we clear $5 every single time we sell some. But we've sold thousands. And I'm a little over halfway through the stock that we have, but I've made thousands of dollars. And we redid the listing one time, but essentially one listing, and it just keeps having more benefits. It's never exciting when it goes off because it's $5. That's how much I'm going to clear. I made $5. But cumulatively has to be one of the greatest hauls in reselling history because it's still going. I still sell them, and it's just a tremendous, tremendous boon for us. Creating one listing and having multiple sales is absolutely a great thing to have in your arsenal of skills. So always look out for those things if they fit what you're trying to sell. And I think the last thing that I do that probably has made more difference for us than everything else we've talked about. Yeah, we have really done a good job of buying better quality items, and we've done a really good job of learning enough about specific categories to be really, really competitive. There's no question at all. I've been really fortunate with some multi-quantity deals. I think all of those pale in comparison to the power of building relationships that get you sourcing opportunities that other people don't get. How many times have you been to the Goodwill bins and you thought, man, if they would just let me in the back before they haul this stuff out there, let me go look before these other people. If you've ever thought that, then you need to listen to this right here. The power of building relationships that get you in places that other people don't go is where you can really turn the corner. You start getting to do the things that you like most, the treasure hunt part, less time listing, and you make more money. And so let me tell you what that looks like. For years, I have told people what we do. I tell people I'm a reseller. I get it that there are people who don't like resellers, and some of that we've done to ourselves by focusing on maximizing profits over people. And I also tell them that I am willing to help you get the most money you can get for your stuff. I get invited a whole lot of times for people to say, hey, before I have my garage sale, before we do the estate sale, do you mind coming to look and making sure I don't make a mistake somewhere? I don't go into anybody's home and hope that I can find a FFA sweetheart jacket and tell them it's worth $10 so that I can sell it for $500. What people have learned is that if they invite me in and they've got a jacket that's worth $500, then I'm going to tell them, hey, I expect to get $500 for this. eBay fees and insurance and getting the item prepared are going to cost me this much. And if I pay you, say, $125 for it or $150 for it, I'm going to come out smelling great. You're going to come out way better than if you had sold this at an estate sale, and we both win. If you've watched my channel at all, there have been times where I got home with an item and I paid a fair price, But then I find out that it's actually worth way more than what I thought. That has never just been extra money for me. I have reached back out to people that I don't know, and I tell them, hey, I was wrong about this. This item's a lot better than I thought it was, and I've taken people cash before. And I've had people tell me that that's just bad business. You've already paid for it. It's yours. You don't owe them anything. And I don't. But I get calls to come look. I got a text message this morning inviting me to look at an estate that these people have purchased before the end of the year, and I can go through there, and they trust me enough. They give me a key. I go in on my own time. They tell me to take whatever I want and pay what I think is a fair price. The only reason that they would do that is they know I'm going to do them right if I can. And I'm not there to take advantage of anybody because I don't need to, because it's the same as getting to go into the back at Goodwill. I'm looking without stress, without any competition whatsoever. Say, I'm not interested in trying to outrace you. I'm not interested in trying to pull anything out of anybody's hands. And I don't have to take food off somebody else's plate for me to have plenty. This year alone, I will have had, oh gosh, probably 6 different private estates that I've been able to go into and get anything that I want to do. I've probably had at least 6 invitations to come pick what I want from garage sales and places like that before they start. And I've had people that reach out to me and ask me if I'm interested in buying entire collections. I've had enough of those opportunities that I wouldn't have to ever go into a thrift store. I would never have to go into a Goodwill. The reality of it is we still do those things because we like those things. The relationships you build are how you can build a business that's a little bit less stressful, a whole lot more fun, and, in my opinion, a whole lot more profitable. My advice in this video is for you to get off the hamster wheel. And if you have the ability to delay your profits a little bit, start focusing on raising that average sale price. Raise your return on investment. Get the job back down to what you envisioned it would be, to where you're not racing all day, every day. You can avoid the burnout. I still think you can make more money, and you will build a business that fits your life instead of building your life to fit your business. That's it for this one. I really appreciate you watching. I'm going to see you real soon on the next one. Bye.